We are the Jim and the Terry of the Jim and the Terry Show. Only my mug just says Jim and Terry. Like Tom and Jerry. Remember when I was developing the name and I said it has to have a nice little rhyme to it? So Jim and Terry, like Tom and Jerry, the old cartoon show. And I don't even know if it was Warner Brothers or who. But yeah, that's us, two retired guys doing this for 8 years. We are a little short of oxygen in this room, dry or not, I don't know. But we are hacking up a lung in between recording buttons. So let's proceed with you and I have been recruited by the Department of National Defense to organize and plan for an American invasion. And I'm thinking of John Candy. Is that us?
Well,
we're going to take over Niagara Falls and shut it down.
We're just thinking of different things, different ways. Some of our grid system that's providing electricity for them
to the north
could be blown up.
Yeah,
and cut off their electrical supplies if that's what's needed. And by the way, our cousins to the States, we don't want any of this to happen. But it's your president that's threatening our country, so we have to think about it. And I think there's ways in which it would have to be guerrilla warfare or that kind of, warfare. We don't even for a minute believe we can stop an attack from the United States. They could send a 10th up.
You are assuming that they're not going to just wipe our infrastructure right out and do a Putin on Ukraine thing to Canada. You think they want us to surrender and take as much stuff with intact status? So you think our strategy is guerrilla?
It could get to one extreme to another, I guess. I guess you could use battlefield nukes to nuke our natural resources, so nobody has it. I don't know what to do.
So you're talking about hydro projects, dams, and reactors?
Oil sands. Oil
Whoa.
pollute the land for 1,000
You're dreaming
years.
Some devious dreams, my
friend.
friend.
Well, I don't think they would do that, and I don't think we're going there, but I do think it would be possible to try to draw them into our lower military bases, and then as they're drawn into the lower military bases, at least blow up the runways and stuff so they can't get back out and leave them there.
Let's talk specifically about...
It would be supply chains and stuff is what we would go for.
Okay, let's break it down into electricity, the grid, which you say we export to the northern United States, the Midwest, as well as the eastern seaboard. And let's talk about pipelines. That is Danielle Smith's favorite topic. Would we blow that stuff up?
Yeah, I think we could... either blow that up and make it just horrible to try to reassemble, or have it blow up.
But are we not shooting ourselves in the foot?
Caught on fire. Well, number one, okay, let's face it, the modern world, oil is a joke. The modern world really is electricity. That's
China is establishing that.
Yeah, so the modern world is... Alberta's all bent out of joint on something that's past due. Yes. They should really be cooperating with Canada.
Yeah.
That's why I'm glad we're building the Dash 8s and 7s in Alberta. I think that's a good gesture on the government's part.
Put industry there.
We're going to put industry there. We can put magnet factories or whatever, battery factories in
EV
there,
tech.
that kind of thing. So, I mean, if it's a doomsday for the country, I don't like the guy, but Saddam Hussein blew up all those oil rigs.
Yes,
we
forget about that one.
Yeah, and okay, that's part of it. You're just not getting it. But they did. But they spent all that time having to put it out. Now, if you're in Canada, which has a military, and you're trying to put out all these fires and everything, that's when the military attacks in various ways that sophisticated armies just aren't expecting. That's the only way I can see it working.
And you mentioned taking out bridges to prevent ground incursions and supply lines from reaching Canada to resupply, restock, rearm overland bridges.
Yeah, I would try to, if we were attacked, I'd try to pull their army in as far into Canada as you can get them.
And blow up stuff behind them?
The F-35s, as we've talked about, it was Finland or one of those countries said they're warned Canada, they're horrible. They're always broken. They cost a fortune to fly. So our F-35s would need repairs, so does theirs. So if you get them in and landed in an airport, because they need an airport, they can't land on a highway like the runways where they're in, if you can, and so they can't fly.
All right.
That's the only way I can see fighting it.
This is you and I talking as if we were the generals planning this stuff.
Yeah.
And the whole reason this discussion is taking place, unbelievable as it is to my mind, it's blowing my mind. And I'm wondering if we should go back to the antecedent, the thing that's kicked this whole thing off, which is Trump.
Yeah, well, he's the blame.
He's the blame. So we got the finger firmly pointing at the gold orange Jesus.
Yeah, well, he part of America is I think they really worship their country. I think they worship it, and so I think that would be their downfall, because America is not God, and Trump is not Jesus. So I think that's probably their weakest point. Other nations thought they were unbeatable as well, and that was Spain. That was we've mentioned that before.
Yeah,
It was
the empires
England.
of the past.
Yeah, and it was Russia, and the Soviet Union. I mean, and they all fell. Rome fell. So the same thing is going to happen when you think yourself better than everybody else in the world. If you could humbly do that, and I don't know why that's such a big problem. We instead of starving those 400,000 African children who were starving to death, instead of doing that,
You mean when Elon
increase it.
Musk
Yeah, Doge,
cut, well, through Doge, but
Yeah.
he cut USAID,
yeah,
which is sponsoring
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
food for the world
Yeah.
programs.
yeah. And if you believe in a greater power, I can't see them looking on that, with blessings.
Here's the irony, that the Project 2025 crowd, MAGA-type Christians, the Patricia White or whoever she is in the Oval Office giving spiritual advice to Trump, that they celebrate the closing of USAID, the reduction of all the outreach programs of the United States government believing in soft power. When you invest in countries, you help the poor, you feed the hungry.
And that was Kennedy's plan.
That was Kennedy.
Yeah, John F. Kennedy,
Yes.
that is. His plan was goodwill around the world is the best way to promote democracy.
And that was post-World War II. That was to set up the big antagonism between the communist evil Russia and China evil communists and the United States Western-led democracies. Now we're seeing the U.S. pivot from democracy to some kind of, look at me, I'm great, and I'm going to be great because I'm going to pick on you and make you pay.
Well, it's funny. I've said it before. Their whole thing, and Trump's whole thing was, we're the greatest nation on earth. We're the best, the strongest, the richest. We have the best of everything and the most educated, et cetera, et cetera. But we want more. We
Yeah.
want what you have too. That's what they swung to. And so unfortunately, the rest of the world basically has gone back to 60 years ago, 70 years ago, where they're just hated. And their attitude is causing that. And they did it. Trump did it. That goodwill that President John F. Kennedy built with supplying poor countries with the abundance of the United States, the current United States said, let them eat cake.
Yeah.
Let's just kill them. And they were told, these people are going to die. And it wasn't, Terry, it wasn't as if they would have to invest. The food to go to them was already paid for.
You're right.
Sitting there rotting and destroyed, other than feed the poor. Unbelievable. I just can't see it going unnoticed by the powers that be.
So now we're faced with Trump being an adversary, not an ally. We're seeing him break up alliances such as NATO. And the threat to Canada seems to be real enough. And the ambassador to Canada, that Hoekstra guy, really seems to be a nut job of American exceptionalism personified.
Yeah.
Trump backside kisser, whatever you want to call him. He's stirring up the pot, and I want him sent home. Would you send Hoekstra back to Washington?
I'd get him out, yeah. Why bother? I think America's got to understand something, that you're not as great and as big as you think you are, and not everybody in the world wants to be you.
I'm great in my own mind.
I'd rather give up the wealth and have free health care and no guns in my street
And
than
a
have
s-
your society.
And a soul. Don't forget the soul of America.
And a soul.
Jim and Terry Show, signing out. Bye-bye.
It's complicated, this relationship I have with my